was referenced in the intelligence assessment's main body text and further detailed in a 2-page assessment annex. John Brennan denied using this dossier in this intelligence assessment that President Obama ordered because he knew it was discredited. It was a politically motivated, manufactured document. He directed senior CIA officials to use it anyway. The CIA officer told the House Intelligence Committee staff as they investigated this, quote, the director of the CIA, John Brennan, refused to remove it, and when confronted with the dossier's many flaws, responded, quote, yes, but doesn't it ring true? Even the bipartisan Senate Select Committee on Intelligence report published in 2020 criticized the FBI's handling of the Steele dossier, noting its completely unverified nature and purposeful sidestepping of intelligence community procedures in its use. President Obama, Hillary Clinton, John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey, and others, including their mouthpieces in the media, knowingly lied as they repeated the contrived narrative that was created in this January 2017 intelligence community assessment with high confidence as though it were fact. John Brennan, as CIA director, stated in a memo to his agency staff in December of 2016, saying, quote, there is strong consensus among us on the scope, nature, and intent of Russian interference in our presidential election. This was reported by NBC News, confirming that Brennan, along with James Clapper and James Comey, agreed with the CIA's assessment that Russia intervened to help Trump win the presidency. As Obama's Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper was tasked with overseeing the creation of this assessment in January of 2017 by President Obama, and he expressed confidence in its findings. In a 2018 interview with the Harvard Gazette, he talked about how he provided Trump with the same classified assessment that President Obama received, which included the high confidence judgment that directly ordered the hacking and election interference. Clapper then went on to add, I think they, Russians, actually influenced the outcome. This is a brief summary of the details that you'll find within the House Majority Staff's report in their investigation into the Obama-directed January 2017 intelligence community assessment that leads us to the very same conclusion that we announced the release of our documents on Friday. The implications of this are far-reaching and have to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. It has to do with an outgoing president taking action to manufacture intelligence, to undermine and usurp the will of the American people in that election, and launch what would be a years-long coup against the incoming President of the United States, Donald Trump. Thank you.
Thank you, Tulsi. And we do want to take questions on this topic while the director has time for this topic. She will leave. I'm happy to take questions on other matters after that. But if anyone has questions for Director Gabbard, you're welcome to ask them. We'll start with our new media seat as always. Emily, go ahead.
Thank you. And Director Gabbard, this one is for you. Do you believe that any of this new information implicates former President Obama in criminal behavior?
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications. The evidence, correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment. There are multiple pieces of evidence and intelligence that confirm that fact.
Damn.
Just a question. Did you get on that? The president yesterday confirmed that the former president, based on what we've seen, do you believe President Obama is guilty?
I'm leaving the criminal charges to the Department of Justice. I am not an attorney, but as I've said previously, when you look at the intent behind creating a fake manufactured intelligence document that directly contradicts multiple assessments created by the intelligence community, the expressed intent and what followed afterward can only be described as a years-long and a treasonous conspiracy against the American people, our republic, and attempt to undermine President Trump's administration.
And then intelligence community unanimously agreed to bipartisan
that we are telling the truth to the American people, and that we are ensuring that the intelligence community is not being deceived. So I'm not asking you to take my word for it. I'm asking you and the media to conduct honest journalism for the American people to see for yourself in the documents that we released now, 200 pages that point in multiple directions. Examples to include comments that have been made by senior intelligence professionals, some still working with these agencies today, that confirm the conclusions that President Obama directed an intelligence community assessment to be created to further this contrived false narrative that ultimately led to a years-long coup to try to undermine President Trump's presidency.
Is that or
I'm telling you, look at the evidence. Look at the evidence, and you will know the truth.
Thanks, Director Gabbard. You declassified these documents, if I'm not mistaken, Friday of last week.
Friday of last week. The first tranche, yes.
This is the first time that President Trump has been president of the United States. He was president from 2017 to 2021.
For reals?
Prior, he and I, under President
Really?
Trump, had declassified these documents.
I never knew that.
DNI do that at that time.
I thought this was his first time.
There were several DNIs under the first Trump administration. President Trump faced many challenges from those who were working in the government who sought to undermine his presidency. That's been clearly detailed. What I can speak to is the fact that this was one of the first things that we started to investigate here within this Trump administration, and have released the results upon the conclusion of our investigation.
With what intelligence agencies around the world have said about Russia, if they have tried to influence elections in the United States, in France, in Germany, in the UK, do you disagree with that? Do you
I'll point back to the intelligence that President Trump has ordered declassified, that we have declassified and released, that the intelligence reflects Russia's motives were to try to sow discord and chaos within the U.S. election, which is a clear distinction from showing a preference for or against a specific candidate, which is what the Obama manufactured intelligence document alleges, that Russia preferred Donald Trump and tried to help Donald Trump get elected. Again, going back to the most important point here, with the intent to undermine the legitimacy of President Trump's election and therefore subvert the will of the American people who chose to send him to the White House.
You laid out that the documents revealed that the Obama administration did not publish the December 2016 presidential daily briefing that demonstrated that Russia did not steal the election. Trump was receiving these briefings at the time of the president-elect. Are you of the view that if that information was kept out of the briefing, then President-elect Donald Trump would succeed?
I don't have any documents that speak to exactly what the new guidance was that was given as the reason for pulling that document, which, by the way, still has never been published until we released it last week, Friday. One could assume that they didn't want President Trump to see a document that came from the intelligence community that would contradict the Russia hoax narrative that began through the Hillary Clinton campaign with the Steele dossier.
Maybe a question for Caroline. The president said yesterday that Obama committed treason. Do you or the White House feel that the Supreme Court's making this decision protects Obama from prosecution?
I can speak to the president's feelings on this matter. He spoke to all of you yesterday in the Oval Office, but I also spoke to him about this morning. And he wants to see all those who perpetuated this fraud against in this room to go on television and continue to spew these lies, knowing that they are lies. And if you all recall, just flashback to 2016 and the years after, the entire Trump won presidency was embroiled in this scandal that was perpetuated by the Democrat Party. And you had major Democrat Party officials in this city, namely Adam.
Hey, anyone who thrived in whiteness, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was fun. I hope that you guys assimilated, had your little picnics and your little dinners and your little jobs, your little businesses. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was fun. Now that it's coming to the ground, I hope you see that this is a black person's world. Good luck.
The fundamental problem with it is that the European continent is bankrupt. It is resource. It has virtually no natural resources. It required an empire to feed it on sweetheart terms with the energy that it needed, with the minerals and with the wherewithal for an industrial life like Germany once had, like Britain once had, but shorn of that empire. And the days of European empire are long gone. There are still some hangovers to the place, but by and large, the European days of empire are gone. We have nothing except our added value skills, academic skills, medical skills, skills in various high-tech fields, but we can't even make a computer. We can't even make a mobile phone without Bolivia. We can't make a computer without the DRC, the Congo, and the rising powers will simply not allow us to reconstitute ourselves as a European empire, assuming Britain, not a member of the EU, is regarded as being a part of that European empire. It will never fly. It will never go off the ground. It will be like
The dodo.
fly, plump, and a very easy target for the new kids on the block.
Black people are rising as white nations are falling apart. That's my title, I think, confirming who are the chosen ones. You know, since I was young, I grew up knowing white nations are the chosen ones. White people are the chosen ones. Why? Because of the mentality they put on us. When we went to school, this how we were taught. This white man discovered this, Vasco da Gama discovered this, Dr. Livingstone did this. So automatically as a child, we grew up knowing that white people are the chosen ones. When you are watching movies about Jesus, about Israelites, you know, they were painted all white. That's automatically we believe that they are chosen ones. You know, back then, I think I was still living in a lie that black people never did anything, in a lie that black people history started from colonization, from slavery. But right now, I see black people rising each and every day, and white nations are falling apart. It's confirming to me that they were not a chosen one, but they built their empires on top of lies. Now, Grand Rising for my family. Welcome back to my YouTube commentary. You know I love you so much, okay? I love you so much, and I thank you.
I thank you,
Now,
too.
I said this. For centuries, they have been telling black people they were cast. And even ourselves, we believe that. And even I've heard interviews of black people believing that Africa is cast. Black people are inferior. As ourselves as black people, we are declaring by our own mouth that we are not enough to them. Okay? Now, what's happening right now is prophetic. What's happening right now, it is, I'll say, it is spiritual, because their system that we trusted, their system that we thought it's mighty, it is collapsing. Their economy is shaking. Their politics divided. Their societies are confused, okay? But at the same time, black people, the very people that are tried to break, very people that they tried are standing stronger, are standing taller, and more united than ever before. Now, this, as I said, it is not a coincidence. It is prophetic. It is history catching up. It's God of black people. the creator who never abandoned black people, showing the whole world exactly who these chosen ones are. Let's open some lips and then we continue.
From the United States to Europe, it truly could not be more clear that Western civilization, the greatest civilization that ever has and ever will be, is over. We are living in the ruins of a once great civilization, and what we see around us is just the twitches of the already dead body. We don't produce, we don't create, we don't dream, we don't excel, we don't act. And what's so horrible about this is think about the sheer amount of blood, sweat, and tears of kings, of saints, of warriors, of the most incredible, brilliant intellectual minds that the world has ever seen that went into creating Western civilization and also went into the effort to give it to us as the heirs. And what are we doing? What was all of that for? What was all of that sacrifice for? So that we could have same-day Amazon delivery, so that we could sit in bed all day watching Netflix and smoking joints or taking out
Hell yeah.
we are
For free. We don't have to work. We just smoke joints and watch Netflix for free.
The barbarians are not only within the walls, but they are in charge of our politics.
Hey, I try my best in this world. I ain't not gonna lie, but I don't have control over anything that goes on, but I can have control over where I relocate. This shit ain't. You're just not feeling it, bucko. I'm like, damn, what is going on? There's no way I've ever in my life went this long like this. Going job to job, people acting. Wow.
Completely and entirely on you to get up and act, or else we will all be culpable for the greatest civilizational loss of all time. But what's the answer? The only way that we are going to get out of this is a major unification around a single force and one common conviction, and that is Jesus Christ. He is the one who built Western civilization to such excellence and such glory and such achievement, and it is only through him that we will be able to have any chance at saving the West, and I truly believe it will be by the skin of our teeth.
Western civilization is collapsing right now. It's not just the United States, or just the UK, or just Canada, or just the country you happen to live in, or just the country or countries you happen to not like. It's the United States, Canada, pretty much all of Europe, possibly Australia, possibly New Zealand. It's the whole shebang. It's not just one country or even one region. Follow me for more advice on how to set up location-independent income so you can escape the collapsing West.
The continent of Africa is circa where the US
I want to escape the collapsing West.
Central and Southeast Asia is about 25, some might even say 30, 40 years ago. I'm a numbers guy, so you'll excuse me. All you've got to do is just look at the numbers and understand the metadata. We're now 1.3 billion people, 54 countries it was, now 55 with the splitting of the Sudan. Of those, there are 4,000 different languages and indigenous dialects. There are over 1,000 different tribes. Those are the high-level numbers. If you dig even deeper, look at just the median age. The median age of an average African is 19. The median age of an average Nigerian is 17. So I want you to think about it this way. Nigeria has 200 million plus people. Half of those people are so young that they're not yet economically active. Here's what that means. So if I want to understand what the investment case is for investing in Nigeria, I look at the fact that you've got 200 million people. Half of them are unemployed because they can't yet work. And when they can start to work, they're all going to need the things we all buy. They're going to need cars, they're going to need homes, they're going to need bank accounts, they're going to need medical insurance. All of these are things that they're going to need. Their children get married. All of these are the investment cases for the continent.
Europe has fallen, not in the tidy cinematic way they like to imagine. No grand finale with church bells tolling over a misty battlefield. No noble speeches carved into marble. No, Europe has fallen the way bread rots when left in the rain. The way a chandelier crashes in slow motion, scattering glass teeth across the floor. The way a once arrogant banquet table is now overrun with rats, the silk tablecloth sagging under the weight of mold and maggots. This isn't the fall of Rome. It's the fall of a nursing home. It's the collapse of a myth held together by powdered wigs, imperial cosplay, and the brittle bones of a continent that lived far too long off of other people's stolen futures. The currency, weak. The birth rates, a nosedive into extinction. The cultures reduced to museum gift shops and TikTok videos about heritage pastries. Their once mighty empires are now theme parks, visited by tourists who pay to watch them pretend they still matter. Paris smells like piss and burnt sugar. London drowns under its own rain, and Berlin pretends that techno is a civilization. They're clinging to
I'm sorry.
like a drowning
I'm
man
sorry.
clings to a floating door. Except
It probably
it's also
does
fire,
too.
and it's made of debt.
Piss
Every
and burnt
invention they
sugar.
stole,
That's a
better
new
elsewhere.
one.
Every culture they
Damn.
bled is outpacing them in growth. Every lie they told is now archived, translated, and live streamed back to them in 4K. Europe has fallen not because it was defeated in battle, but because it ran out of people who believed in it. Its own children are jumping ship, refusing to speak the languages of greed and conquest, turning their back on a legacy that smells like gunpowder, incest, and grave dirt. The cradle of civilization
What's up,
has become the hospice of history. Its only
pretend Planet Coaster man?
and weapons
Planet
that
Coaster
can't
enthusiast.
The worst part, they can't even pretend anymore. The mask has slipped. The paintings have cracked. The crown jewels are just shiny rocks in a glass box, guarded by a man in a funny hat who can't afford dental care.
Piss and burnt sugar.
You're not doing it.
Alright, bro, you smell like piss and burnt sugar. Get away from me.
Civilization that has so opened its door.
Yeah, I remember you.
Another civilization that is openly hostile.
You were, I think you were the one that said you were gonna buy my DLC, bucko. Got it all our belt.
When I
Got
describe
it all.
my books, because I write
Got all our belt.
more tooth and nail to prevent Islam.
Got all our belt.
Europe. Because that was one of the grand plans that went on for century after century from the east. The Turks were trying to enter the Constantinople. They surrounded Vienna in 1683. And before that, the Muslims, I told you, went up into Tours in France in 732, 1,000 years later. This was an actual goal. And now, Western Europe is saying, oh, none of that matters. It was a misunderstanding. Come on in. But they haven't changed. That mentality, and when I say they, that's obviously I'm simplifying. The mentality that I've described.
Please don't send the big black cartel again. My ass healed. Okay. Oh my gosh, here we go. Did you hear that one? Please don't send the big black cartel again until my ass heals.
Again, it's not my point to argue with, oh, this particular migrant wants to conquer you. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's looking for good life. Right?
Today's the day. It's not gonna stop, not even with the youngsters. They think that's right. That's not right.
To that demographic, which has within it, not all of it, but within it, that kernel of animosity for Christians and so-called infidels, and the imperative to conquer the world in the name of jihad for Allah, which they're the good guys. They never see themselves as the bad guys. This is one of the issues with all conflicts. They're not bad guys. They're good guys. You're the bad guys because you're infidels. They're trying to bring the light of Islam to you. So that's another aspect of how moral, or the morality that they feel. They're the good guys. Okay? In doing this, because look at you, Denmark and Europe. You're all dissipated drunks and profligates, and there's no real. I'm sharing with you their arguments because I read it and I hear it. So they're bringing to you goodness, okay? But before, your ancestors, because I guess they had their own social order and their own goodness, it was called Christianity, were able to fight it. But I guess in this current void of sort of this atheistic climate, anything goes, and who's to say they're wrong, maybe they're right, et cetera, et cetera. And now you have what's happening. So it's a very unprecedented experience. A lot of people talk about the Roman Empire, this sort of thing happened, but it didn't get into that. It was actually, they were still cognizant of trying to maintain their own social, cultural mores in Rome. And it fell to the Goths and the Germanic peoples. And I'm just saying, some people use this analogy.
La la la
But in this case,
la.
this is completely your doing. Not you, but it's Europe's doing.
Okay, you're bringing a hostile force that's openly hostile, and lo and behold, when I look where Muslims are, I see chaos and violence and criminality, rape, okay, grooming, okay, that's
Maybe if
what
I
always
up
happens.
the price more,
Okay, so is there hope? I
they'll
think so.
leave.
I hope so. In time.
Are they even
But
riding
it's
this
so
one?
bad that
Oh, they sure
it
are.
even had to get to this point. You know, it's such an abnegation and betrayal of your own heritage, of these men
They
and
like this
women
one
who
more.
fought and died to preserve your way of life against a hostile force. And now they're being marketed and, why not? I guess, so it's a matter of
What y'all think about $12?
wake up and see what reality is, what I'm talking about, and understand the history of Islam. What Islam is all about. Islam is unequivocally hostile.
Why don't you have a quote line? Because I don't use quote lines for flat rides. That's the way I build. Because they make their own line. Quote lines are only used for roller coasters. Because it's required. Flat rides, they're not required. All you have to do is place an entrance and an exit on a platform, and they will form their own line. I mean, it don't look like a line right now. It looks like a little triangle, but and plus it makes a mess. So this works. They go in and out. Look, check it out. It works. See? Thank you. Thank you. See? It works just fine. And then it makes your ride look like, oh, this is exciting. I know it looks all out of bounds, but I gotta finish this. You want to check out the new roller coaster, man? I completed it. Not the one that I showed you. It's actually this one. Sugar. Oh, honey. Check it out. We'll ride it. This is only a test. a long roller coaster.
Countries like Ghana, Kenya, South Africa, then Nigeria, they're becoming hubs of innovation, technology, creativity. Even the media tries to hide it, the media will always focus on the negative side. For example, in Nigeria, the media will always focus on the president, a lot of people, corruption. In Kenya, the media will always focus on William Ruto, Gen Z protests, and everything, but they will not protest, but they will not focus, they will not even try to say something positive is happening. In Kenya, they will say about the tech hubs, they will say about the innovations, okay? They will say about the creativity that is going on in Africa. We are trying to hide that. And spirituality is the most important part. And when we talk about traditions and worship, they tried to strip our identity. They did that, but we agreed it back. Okay? They got us our ancestors. They told us to worship their gods. They told us they were taking right, and they told us that it's very easy.
And that's about it. I got a 5-star on that one.
Black people are reconnecting right now. Yeah, we are realizing that the God of black people never left us, and he was simply waiting for the right time to reveal himself to reveal us black people as his chosen one. Okay? I know you can feel it. I know you can feel it. You can feel it. The protests that shake the streets. You can feel it the way young Africans are rising, are rejecting colonialism.
Let me say that again. The whole history of America is the history of rich white men telling not rich white people that their enemies are black and brown. It starts in the colonies. What would become the United States? Let's remember, during the colonial period, mid-1600s, there was no such thing as white people. I know some people who are now called white find that shocking, because they think whiteness is real. But whiteness was created. Europeans didn't call themselves white. We didn't call ourselves white. We weren't all members of one big happy family. Are you kidding? Have you studied the history of Europe? The history of Europe was about killing each other. That's what we did in Europe. We just killed each other before we figured out there were other people to kill. We just killed each other. Right?
Damn.
I mean, that was the history of Europe. The English hated the Irish, right? Northern Italians didn't even think that Southern Italians
This is
were
why
Italians.
I tell you why I like history.
And everybody hated their
Cause sometimes you gotta remember, you like, oh, a lot of people weren't, because it was back in the day. Ain't nobody interested in back in the day. Honestly, really not. Like when I was learning, I was like, dude, I don't care about no Mayflower. I was like, what are y'all talking about? I was confused, so I just didn't listen to it. I was like, whatever.
Or other Europeans who weren't technically indentured servants, but they were still peasants, didn't have any money, didn't have any land, and they could do the math. They added it up, and they were like, damn, we got to figure out a way to split these folks apart from one another, or they're going to rise up and take our stuff.
In that sea of silence, where most who are called white would look like
And Highlanders and Lowlanders just fought the hell out of each other. So there was no white race, but in the colonies of what would become the elite do, when you see that you're outnumbered by black and white folks who are penniless, landless, peasants, you have to do one of two things. You either have to kill them all, but you can't do that because who's going to work? Rich folks weren't going to. They had to get poor people to work. The whole point was to be a person of leisure back in those days. That was the goal, was not to work. So you couldn't kill them all. You didn't want to kill them all. You had to do the work yourself. You had to build your own levee, build your own house, pick your own tobacco, harvest your own cotton. No, cotton. what, you know, I'm gonna let you just we're gonna get rid of indentured servitude. Now you're free labor, and by the way, once you're free labor, you get 50 acres of land just because you're a free labor state. So we're gonna cut you in on this deal. We're gonna let you enter into contracts. We're gonna let you testify in court. And here's the best of all: we're gonna put you on the slave patrol to keep those people. Right? The idea was you're still gonna get your clock clean. We still don't like you. We still aren't gonna really empower you or change your economic subordination, but we're gonna make you honorary members of this team, and you're gonna help us keep those other people down.
Tim Wise from Nashville, Tennessee is not like the everyday white American. He never knew how less concerned. This respectable individual has devoted so much effort in exposing just how the American system is designed to work against black Americans.
So they got a little taste of power, and it did effectively divide and conquer those coalitions. Those rebellions began to stop almost instantly. Fast forward to the Civil War era, you have rich white folks in the South just standing up and openly admitting that the reason they're prepared to secede from the Union, and the only reason they ever articulated was to maintain and extend slavery and white supremacy. Because who's going to get the job? Not me. In other words, slavery actually undermined the wages and the wage-based, the economic floor of the typical white working class low-income person. But they were told, they're going to take your job. No, you got your job. That's the point. And so at some level, again, working class white people being harmed by white criminals, relatively being advantaged, right? Being given a leg up, being given a membership to the club, but in absolute terms being kept economically subordinated by the very thing that gave them a sense of superiority. How's that for life? In the present era, this is not ancient history. Now we have people running around insisting that we should close the border with Mexico because if we don't, the wages of working class people will continue to fall. The implication being that the only reason workers are paid like crap in this country is because the border is open. But if you believe that, you would actually have to believe that if that border were closed, that all these owners of capital and industry would just say, oh, well, you figured us out. Here, it's a raise. We really believe that the only thing keeping
You figured this out. Here, you get a raise.
medium semi-skilled labor from south of this artificial border? Is that really what we believe we know? That if that border is closed, it isn't going to be closed to capital? It isn't going to be closed to goods? If you have a border that can be crossed by capital looking for the highest return on investment or goods looking for the highest price, but labor is chained to its country of origin, how is that going to work for the benefit of working people? By definition, it doesn't. By definition, it immiserates the working class. Divide and conquer.
Like Frederick Franks, Mr. Wise inspired others to re-examine their biases against black people and simple as
Divide and conquer.
conventional perspective shed light on the truths.
But the best example of all, perhaps, the contemporary era in the greater New Orleans area after Katrina. Here you have two communities for the most part in Lower Ninth Ward, a mostly black community, 94% African American, about 40% official poverty rate, heavy working class community. And right across the canal, St. Bernard Parish, Chalmette, 95% white, also working class, high levels of poverty, economically fairly similar. And at the end of the day, in those first few days of September 2005, more similar than they probably would have realized. Because when those levees broke, they all got their stuff jacked. They all got their stuff destroyed. But if you had asked white folks in Chalmette, and I've done it, who was the cause of the problems in the greater New Orleans area prior to that flooding, they would have pointed across that canal at those black folks. Wouldn't have called them black folks, and would have said, there, that's the problem. 70% of the white folks in St. Bernard Parish voted for David Duke, the white supremacist neo-Nazi, former head of the largest Ku Klux Klan group in the United States. When he ran for governor in 1991, 7 out of 10 gladly voted for him because he was blaming black folks for all of their problems, and they brought
You heard that? You got empathy for mass murder that kills people, cooks them up in a soup pot, and eats them. You want a sandwich? I spent all day making that. You should eat it now while I'm standing here watching you. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. in 1721 with the Western Thompson. And back in 72, 70, why don't y'all talk about what's going on now? Back in 72, back in 1963, we don't know what happened in 1963. We have to go look that up, and it takes a lot of time. And it's probably really boring, and we're probably not going to be interested in it. In 1924, from 1001 BC. White or blue. Can't really see the blue. I can do the top white.
But they cannot say openly because for some reasons
are upset that anyway, who are they fighting back against? Because it's constantly white Christian men against the problem. It's not just white men, it's white Christian men. It's always Christian men, Christian pastors, Christian politicians. How many white Christian men do you think we're going to find on the NFC list if it ever gets released? Oh, I bet you there's going to be a lot of white Christian men on that list. It's always white Christian men, so it's not as much as act like that's not the case. The problem in this country is white Christian men. You can't imagine what's going to go wrong when we have a bunch of white Nazis talking about white men, white men. Is this how we make America great again? Okay. All right, let's see what happens.
Just the great angry white man chanting, "White man fight back, white man fight back." It's extremely alarming, and we're so confused. I'm rather impressed for people that look like us to the outside. It appears that we run into everything. So most people are curious, who are you fighting back against? And not only that, if you're talking about Charlie Kirk, if you're talking about post-mass and school shooters, people that look like us, right? So genuine out there in the streets, churches, and you're yelling, "Fight man, fight back!" Who are you being oppressed by? Ourselves? We need to be fighting ourselves? I'm curious, and not to mention, after the third or fourth time saying, "White men fight back," don't you just naturally want to be quiet? Maybe white men should be fighting back against our own, against fellow people who look like us, who stand up for injustices that serve us. I think that white men are more oppressed. Hard to gain an audience.
Statue of Little Charlie. Little Charlie. Little Charlie. Little Charlie, boy. Charlie. It's already started, bro. I don't care. I've already been a victim to this shit, and I'm like, no. I'm staying safe. That shit's about to go down today. Get yourself.
Now HBCU have closed their campuses because of threats of what? Threats of what? Why are you fucking with black people? What did black people have anything to do with this utopia? All of a sudden you conjure up black people. The police, black people are against HBCU.
We're in danger because we didn't do nothing. I'm telling you, he even put in, came out. He thought he went inside, thought about it, came out, and started pulling out guns and started shooting, and we killing everybody. Man. Who you fighting back? Everybody's asking that same question. Who fight back who? That's what I said. I was like, who? Ain't nobody going around doing no shit like that. Yeah, ain't nobody perfect. Yeah, we got killers too, but dude, ain't nobody doing no random shit like that. Ain't nobody dumb enough. Black or Mexican, they ain't dumb enough to be doing no dumb shit like that. No matter how much y'all think he's racist, ain't nobody touching. They already tried to get him. What was it? Was a white man shooting at Donald Trump? Damn, dude. I don't even know if they caught that dude. Burger King ketchup. Cause they didn't get, that's that Burger King, that's that good stuff. Blow my ear off. Man, ain't nobody blew your ear off. That was a wrestling, you know when they act like they busted their head? They slap a little pack on their fucking shit and pop it. And make it look like you're bleeding everywhere. That's what that was. That was WWE at its finest. Mixed with Burger King ketchup. The good stuff. The good stuff lived all though. What we gonna burn him for? No foul play. Right after.
Burns hotter for a cishet clown, spitting hate than for a black
I'm gonna wake up in the morning and go. Today, just because everything's going on, I think I'm just gonna hang myself out the window. Fuck. Yeah. Pretty sure there's plenty things, other things to do out there, but to sit there and say, "Oh, I think I just gonna off myself in a tree and make it look like a white person did it." Then they were like, "Oh, there was nothing for foul play." That's sad. In front of everybody. I saw that shit live. I was like, damn. He's just like sitting there hemorrhaging and blood just squirting everywhere. I was like, yeah, you gotta look it up fast. They'll try to take it down everywhere. You gotta look fast. It ain't over. It's still going on today, brother. It's going down today on Good Sunday. All the KKKs is pulling up. And I am not going outside. Hello, Orange Pyro.
Hate and aggression. I wish I had a chalkboard lesson. I wish I had a word to write and everybody would pay attention because I write that, I joke, and everybody thinks it's so funny.
Posters.
Yet I am watching the unraveling of a civilization. All people take control over it. And of fear, and of hatred, and of violence, and we
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Got it all up. all. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that.
But I am going to say this. You are not going to beat violence with more violence. I promise you that. You aren't going to just go up and up and up in this escalation of stupidity and hope for a good end. It won't end well. You want this to stop? Come up with actual solutions.
It doesn't exist. Yes is no, no is yes.
Figure out ways to give everybody access and inclusivity in that society, because if you don't, you will all whirl around. Start leading with the change, not pointing the finger and saying they're the problem, because that's getting everybody absolutely nowhere. Come up with a solution.
Okay, so the rumor is that the reason why these things are happening in American society is young white men are upset. They're angry. They feel disenfranchised. My question is this.
No.
What the fuck do you have to complain about? You have the White House. You have Congress. You have the Supreme Court. Every dollar that we bring in.
What console do you play on? I don't know if you're still in the lobby. That sound like me. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? I am not bothering you. You looked at my 7-year-old child. No, I was looking at you because you're staring at me, and I'm trying to figure out what I did to make you just stare at me while I'm walking into the store, opening every little step I take. I feel some type of fear pumping through my veins. I shouldn't feel this. I feel threatened. What's going on? You looked at my son. No, sir, I was looking at a grown adult because I'm a grown adult and trying to figure out why this grown adult keeps staring at me. That's why I asked you, sir. And you answered with, because I was looking at your child. A little boy. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. I appreciate it if you're new here. If you like Planet Coaster. Public execution sponsored by Coca-Cola. Like Trayvon Martin with the Skittles. They was clowning about that, but nobody got in trouble. One person dies and the whole nation of black people get blamed. That's crazy. Well, I know I'm staying in the house, so that's about it. I stay in the house anyway, because as soon as I go outside, something happens. And I ain't up for this one. What's the theme of the coaster? Theme. The theme is a roller coaster park inside of a canyon. That's the theme. Everybody goes off themes. I freestyle. I do random stuff. Sometimes I don't have themes. I have a Willy Wonka park, and I think that's the only themed one I have. And I have a Western park. That one is posted if you want to see it. I did a collaboration on that one. Yeah, I only have one park posted, but yeah, there's really no theme. I figure it out later. I don't think like everybody else thinks. My thinking is kind of strange. It's like you see me build and you're like, why? And I'm like, because I just don't have one. This is just a coaster water park with no theme. Maybe later on when I build it, then I think of maybe like I can do the Smurfs. I can make it a Smurfs park because it's white and blue. Smurfs Canyon? I don't know. Yeah, he broke his legs before or after he hung himself. They said no foul play. This man had broken legs. And then he climbed the tree and hung himself. Damn. He probably had some incredible upper body strength. Damn. Yep. It's happening on my channel. What did he comment on my channel? He said, please don't send the big black cartel again. My ass until my ass heals. I don't know who he has multiple accounts. I don't know who he is. But he's having fun on my channel and I suppose he's a child. But like when you come through my channel talking about black this, yeah, you're a child being raised to be racist. Like what the fuck? Because you see it around you and you think it's good and you think it's funny. Selective outrage. Just like when you drive the car. I get so many people getting behind me, and when they speed past me, I could just feel the anger. They just, damn. I'm like, look at this. Wait, don't feed into it, because when you feed into it, you're gonna be the cause of it. You're gonna be the blame of it. It's sad.
watching you right now. Not just watching, but studying you, analyzing you, measuring your steps, your victories, your growth. And while they may smile in your face, deep down inside there's something burning within them. Envy. They won't always show it, but oh, it's there. It lingers in the way they react when you succeed. It's hidden in the silence when they should be clapping. It's in the hesitation when they should be celebrating you. They see something in you, like strength, purpose. That unsettles them. They wonder how you keep pushing forward. How you rise when life knocks you down. How, despite everything you've been through, you still stand tall. You see, people don't envy the weak. They don't envy those who give up. No one wastes time envying someone who's ordinary. They envy the strong. They envy those with resilience, fire, and purpose. They envy those who take hits and refuse to stay down. They envy the ones who shine without permission, who walk into a room and shift the atmosphere without even trying. People don't envy the ones who don't give up. They don't waste their energy resenting those who settle for less. Never take risks. Never strive for more. No envy is reserved for those who push forward no matter the obstacles. It's for the ones who refuse to break even when life tries to shatter them. The people who envy you may never say it out loud. They see your strength. They see the way you rise after every fall, how you keep going even when the odds are stacked against you, and deep down it bothers them. Not because you've done anything wrong.
That's a good idea. You could have and make the track and cars like a red and orange color to fit with like the Grand Canyon, for example, and as an idea. Thank you, sir. Oh, that's a true.
Every time you overcome something that was meant to break you, someone is watching.
Uh-huh.
They might not say a word, but they're taking notes.
Listen, your mama. Your mama, the people around me.
And while they may act indifferent, deep down they wonder how you do it. How do you keep smiling after being hurt?
Uh-huh.
How do you stay focused when distractions try to pull you away? How do you carry yourself with strength when life throws storms your way? They wish they had your endurance, your self-belief, your power to stand tall in the face of adversity. And because they don't, they envy. They wish they could harness the same inner fire that you do, but instead of asking how you do it, instead of learning from you, they let bitterness grow.
There you go.
Envy is never truly about you, it's about
There you go. Yep.
People envy what they can't control.
It's about them. What did my auntie do? She can't control me, so guess what? She has no other choice but to do. Send me some.
Because they live in a world where they let fear dictate their actions. They hold themselves back. They let doubt silence them. They let failure define them.
No matter how far she is, she knows what she's doing.
You refuse to let negativity consume you. You take every
This is, I've been figuring out that's why her kids don't want to be around her. It's like they know she knows how to do something without even being around you.
They'd rather envy your strength than put in the work to build their own. They'd rather judge your confidence than face the insecurities within themselves. It's easier to criticize than it is to grow. That's why you'll notice some people acting differently around you when you succeed. Maybe they were supportive when you were struggling, but now that you're thriving, their energy has changed.
Oh, that's crazy.
They liked you better when you were unsure, when you doubted yourself.
You.
Just like them, but the
See?
moment you step into your power, the moment you stop apologizing for being great, the envy starts creeping in.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone wants to see you win.
That's the scary shit.
They may smile in your face, but behind closed doors, they wonder why it's you rising instead of them. Why do you have the strength to keep going when they gave up long ago? What makes you so different? What makes you unstoppable? And instead of seeing your journey as proof that they too can rise, they choose to let envy consume them. You have to understand that not everyone is strong enough to celebrate someone else's strength. Some people are so used to losing that when they see a winner, it makes them uncomfortable. Your perseverance makes them reflect on their own excuses. Your determination forces them to question why they haven't tried harder. Your ability to keep going despite the challenges reminds them of the times they gave up. And for some, that's too much to handle. It's easier to resent you than to face their own regrets.
Stream still going strong without somebody in here.
If they chose to be. But strength isn't something you're given. It's something you build. And you, my friend,
I'm noticing.
yours through trials, through struggles, through moments when giving up seemed like the only option.
I am noticing.
That's why they envy you, because they know they wouldn't have survived what you did. The truth is, some people envy you because they expected you
It's
to
a
fail.
pattern.
They watched you go through
Huh?
hardship and thought it would break you.
Watch the pattern, Wayne.
They assumed you would quit,
You'll know who's
that you would
doing it.
settle, that you would stay down, but you didn't. And that's what they can't stand. You prove them wrong without even trying. Your very existence challenges their expectations. Every time you rise, every time you prove your resilience, it reminds them that they were wrong about you. And some people would rather hold on to resentment than admit they misjudged you. They would rather envy you than accept that they underestimated your strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about what you've achieved, it's about the fact that you were supposed to fail, but you didn't. And now, they don't know how to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
People will envy you for things you didn't even know were special. It's not always about material success or external achievements.
Mhm.
Sometimes they envy your peace. They envy your self-love. They envy the way you walk with confidence, the way you carry yourself,
Mm-hmm.
the way you don't let negativity shake you. They envy the way you stay true to yourself. The way
That's you, Lolo.
you keep moving forward no matter
You don't
what.
let negative shit shake your ass.
To find light in darkness, your capacity to keep going even when life gets tough. And because they don't have that within themselves, they project their insecurities onto you. They gossip, they undermine, they doubt, they belittle, but deep down it's just envy. They see something in you that they wish they had, and instead of being inspired by it, they let it turn into resentment. But here's the thing.
Telling you, just like you know, when she seen you coming up and everything, she just sent out a bunch of hate. She hated you. She's like, how? How is she doing this?
Continue to chase your dreams. Your strength is yours, and you earned it.
I didn't teach her this. I didn't teach her to grow and be strong. I taught her to fail and come back home. That's what I taught her.
That's not your role to carry. Keep shining, keep growing, keep walking in your purpose. Because the very thing they envy in you is the same thing that will set you apart, that will elevate you, that will lead you to
Yep.
places they never imagined. You were not built to fit in. You were built to rise.
Yo.
Some people won't hate you for what you do, they'll hate you for who you are. The moment you step into your light, the moment you start walking with confidence, the moment you begin to embrace your purpose, something shifts in the people around you. They start to see you differently. Not because you've changed, but because your light exposes the darkness they've been hiding in. It forces them to confront the truth about themselves, the dreams they've abandoned, the potential they've wasted, the fears they've allowed to control them. And that makes them uncomfortable. You never intended to be a mirror, but that's exactly what happens when you choose to rise. Your success, your drive, your hunger for more, it all serves as a silent reminder of everything they could be if only they had the courage to step out of their own shadows. But instead of learning from you, they envy. You have to understand that not everyone will celebrate your light. Some people are so used to darkness that anything bright feels like a threat.
There it is.
They've been living in a world of excuses, self-doubt, and fear for so long that when they see someone like you, someone who refuses to be held back, someone who pushes forward no matter what, it makes them uneasy. It's not that they dislike you personally, it's that they can't stand what you represent. You represent the version of themselves they gave up on. You remind them of all the times they chose comfort over growth, fear over faith, and weakness over strength. And instead of being inspired, they resent you for it. They don't want to admit that they could have done more, that they could have tried harder, that they could have been better. So they turn their frustration toward you, not realizing their battle isn't with you, it's with themselves. Your light is
Ooh.
powerful. It doesn't just brighten your path, it reveals everything around you. And when you step into it, when you start embracing who you were meant to be, it forces people to face their own reality. Some will be inspired, some will cheer you on, but others, they will will try to find ways to dim your light. They will criticize, mock, and belittle, not because you've done anything wrong, but because they feel exposed. They can no longer hide behind the illusion that life is unfair, that success is impossible, that greatness is out of reach. You prove that it is possible, that greatness is achievable, that nothing is stopping them except for themselves. And that's a truth
Lolo, there it is. You just stopping yourself. Cause I'm proud of Lil Lo. She look how she came up so quick. Everybody look at you crazy like what the how she what?
They'll make little comments disguised as jokes, questioning your choices, downplaying your achievements. They won't openly hate, but they won't celebrate you either. Why? Because your growth highlights their stagnation. Your discipline magnifies their laziness. Your ambition makes their excuses harder to justify. And the only way they can cope with that is by pretending that your success is a fluke, that you got lucky, that you changed. But the truth is, you didn't change. You just stopped playing small. You stopped dimming your light to make others feel comfortable. And now they don't know how to handle it. The hardest thing to accept is that some of the people you thought would support you will be the first to resent you. Not because you wronged them, but because your light exposes their unwillingness to change. You may not even realize it, but just by being yourself, just by growing, just by pushing forward, you are making some people feel inadequate. And instead of being motivated, they let bitterness take root. They tell themselves it's unfair. They look at your journey and convince themselves you had it easier, that you were given opportunities they weren't, that your success came from external factors rather than your hard work. Because if they admit that you built yourself, that you overcame obstacles, that you refused to quit, then they'd have to admit that they could have done the same. And that's a truth they'd rather avoid. But you are not responsible for how others react to your light. You were not put on this earth to stay small so that others can feel big. You were not meant to dim yourself just to keep people comfortable in their mediocrity. If your light makes them uncomfortable, that's their battle to fight, not yours. Your only job is to keep shining, to keep growing, to keep walking in your purpose. Because for every person who envies you, there is someone who is inspired by you. For every person who resents you, there is someone who looks up to you. You are a walking testimony that it is possible to rise, to heal, to build, to thrive. And if that makes some people uncomfortable, so be it. You were not created to blend into the darkness. You were created to shine. They will try to downplay your growth. They will act as if your achievements don't matter. They will pretend not to notice your success, your transformation. But deep down, they see it. They see everything, and it burns them up inside.
Burn her up, Lolo. You burned her up. She could not believe what she was seeing. She like, how many cards this girl got? You was rolling up. You was like, yeah, look at me. You wasn't taking it as she was like, she's just throwing all this in my face. Like, no. Are you gonna say congratulations or anything? Nope. Oh, it's nice. That's nice. That's it. Nah, oh me, oh, I'm so happy for you. He's good for you, bro. None of that. None of that. Yeah.
Now you're speaking differently. You're thinking differently. You're moving differently. And that scares them. Because if you can change, if you can grow, if you can elevate, then what's their excuse? They realize they have no one to blame but themselves, and that realization is too painful for them to face, so instead, they make you the enemy. They try to convince themselves that you've lost your way, that you've forgotten where you came from. But the truth is, you haven't forgotten. You've just outgrown the version of yourself they were comfortable with. Let them envy, let them talk, let them watch. Because at the end of the day, their opinion doesn't define your destiny.
There you go.
Their resentment doesn't limit your potential. Their inability to celebrate you doesn't take away from your greatness. You were given this light for a reason. You've worked for it, you've earned it, you've fought for it. And no amount of envy, bitterness, or resentment should ever make you question your worth. Keep shining, keep pushing, keep evolving, because the ones who truly matter will never be threatened by your light. They will be empowered by it. There's a kind of support
empowered
that isn't real. A kind that feels empty, forced, and laced with something unspoken.
That's why I said you can't buy support. You gotta have a physical support, like somebody telling you and pushing you. Because sometimes if you by yourself, You sit there and talk to yourself like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And if somebody's right there next to you and it's like, this is the first thing you do. It's like, oh, why didn't I think of that?
Yep.
That's easy. Ooh.
It's not real. You can sense when someone's words don't match their heart. They'll congratulate you, but their tone is
There
off.
you go.
They'll show up,
Oh,
but
it's
their
nice.
presence feels more like an obligation than genuine support. They'll say they're happy
Like,
for you,
is
but
that
their eyes
it?
tell a different story. That's because envy is a heavy
Like,
burden to
you
carry,
gonna
no
say
matter how
like,
hard
oh,
someone
you're
tries to
doing
hide it,
so
it always leaks
good
through.
and
A person who truly supports you
nothing.
won't feel threatened by your growth. They won't hesitate to celebrate you, uplift you, and push you higher. But someone who secretly envies you, they'll only support you as long as you don't surpass them. The moment
Ooh.
you're selling beyond what they imagine, that fake support starts to crack. and
Gone.
true feelings begin to show. Fake support isn't about love, it's about control. Some people only pretend to support you so they can keep you close. They don't want to see you fail completely, but they don't want to see you win too much either. They like having access to you, knowing your moves, staying in your circle, because that gives them a sense of control. But the second you start making moves they can't predict, the second you start rising in ways they never expected, they start acting different. They withdraw, they become distant, they stop showing up the way they used to, not because they've lost interest, but because they can no longer pretend. They realize they can't fake it anymore. They can't pretend they're happy for you when every new level you reach reminds them of how little they've grown. Envy doesn't always show up as hatred. Sometimes it disguises itself as passive-aggressive comments, backhanded compliments,
Damn.
dismissals of your success. Someone who envies you won't always tear you down directly, but they'll never fully lift you up either. They'll tell
I was like, dude, I wish I had this shit when I was growing up.
don't get ahead of yourself.
Right? All these things.
Yeah, I was like, dude, if I had somebody telling me this stuff, dude, I would have made a lot better, more choices.
These would have been way different.
No, go to church and give me all your money and put it in there and be broke for the next 2 weeks. God's coming. Now put it in. Hurry up.
That's your money for what? For work? Nah, you don't need that. Give it to us. Give it back to you.
They want to know what you're doing, who you're talking to, what your next move is, so they can compare, compete, or even copy. They might even act like they're rooting for you, but the moment they see you winning in a way they can't, their energy shifts. Suddenly, they're too busy to respond. Suddenly, they stop engaging with your success. Suddenly, their words become short, their presence fades, and their enthusiasm disappears. That's because they weren't clapping for you, they were clapping for themselves. For the comfort of knowing you weren't too
They were clapping for you. They were clapping for themselves.
Real support doesn't come with limits. It doesn't come with jealousy, conditions, or hidden agendas.
Well, what about me? Man, you know what? I heard this before. And let me find out that truck is in my name. I will send you to court for using my name. Going to get vehicles in my name. Because you have my social security and all that since I was a kid. She forced me to get that bank account. I'm telling you, she's probably using that Bank of America bank account in my name still. She made me get a joint account with her to watch my money. You hear that? Yeah, she made me get a joint account with her because I couldn't open my own account. So she put me on a joint account with her under her name. So she had access to everything. Since I was little, she taught me about banks. I didn't know nothing about banks either.
My mom did show me some stuff about it.
Yeah, she taught me about banks, all that stuff. I was like, damn, my parents never showed me this stuff.
pretense. And when you find those people, hold on to them. Because in a world full of hidden envy, real support is rare. And when you have it, you'll never have to question it. There's something different about you. Always has been. You walk into a room and even without trying, you command attention. Not because you're loud, not because you seek the spotlight, but because there's something about you that refuses to blend in. You were never meant to fit the mold, never meant to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You were born to stand out. And the truth is, not everyone will celebrate that. Some people will admire it, others will be inspired by it. But there will always be those who resent it. Because when you stand out, you remind people of what they've buried in themselves. The dreams they ignored, the potential they never embraced, the courage they never found. And that makes them uncomfortable. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your existence alone challenges them to face their own fears. From a young age, you felt it. The way people looked at you differently. The way some embraced you while others tried to dim your light. Maybe you were told to quiet down, to not take up too much space, to be like everyone else. Maybe you learned early on that standing out comes with a cost. That not everyone will clap for you. That sometimes the world prefers those who blend in. But no matter how hard you tried to fit in, something in you resisted. Because deep down you knew you were meant for more. You weren't designed to follow the crowd, to live in the shadows of others, to shrink yourself for acceptance. You were built to lead, to create, to inspire. And no amount of outside
Create and inspire. That's my job.
isn't just about talent, success, or status. It's about presence. It's about the way you carry yourself, the energy you bring, the way you make people feel when you walk into a room. And some people can't handle that. They see your confidence, your drive, your authenticity, and instead of being inspired, they feel threatened. Because your light exposes their insecurities. Your fearlessness
Authentic.
reminds them of the courage they
Custom. That's what I'd be like. Custom. This is all my brain, not your brain.
They label you as too much, too different, too bold. Not because there's something wrong with you, but because they don't know how to handle someone who refuses to live by their limitations. The road of standing out is not easy, it's lonely at times. Because when you refuse to conform, you lose people along the way. Friends who don't understand your journey, family members who don't see your vision, peers who resent your growth. There will be moments when you wonder if it's worth it. If blending in would make life easier. If dimming your light would bring you more acceptance. But you didn't come this far just to disappear into the background. You weren't built to be average, to play small, to live a life that pleases others but suffocates your soul. You were made for impact, and impact requires standing out. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it costs you relationships, even when it makes you the target of envy and criticism. People will always have something to say. They will judge you for being different, for breaking the mold, for stepping into spaces they never imagined for you. They'll call you lucky, as if your success wasn't earned. They'll doubt you, waiting for the moment you fall. They'll try to box you in, limit you, define you on their terms. But they don't get to decide your path. They don't get to dictate your purpose. You were born to stand out, and nothing they say or do can change that. The only question is, will you embrace it? Or will you let the world convince you to play small? Will you walk in your purpose unapologetically, or will you shrink yourself to fit a version of you that makes others comfortable? True strength
Fuck
lies in
making other motherfuckers comfortable.
in standing tall even when people try to cut you down. In continuing to shine even when others try to dim your light. The greatest leaders, innovators, and game changers in history were people who refused to conform. They were told they were too much, too different, too ambitious. But they didn't let that stop them. They understood that standing out is a gift, not a curse. They knew that blending in meant sacrificing their greatness, and they refused to do that. And now, because they stood firm in who they were, the world remembers them. They left a legacy. Not because they were like everyone else, but because they were unapologetically themselves. And that's the power you hold. You have the ability to leave an impact, to change lives, to inspire generations. Not by fitting in, but by standing out, by being bold in your authenticity, by walking in your truth, by refusing to let fear dictate your path. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else. It needs you.
Hey.
Your voice, your vision, your unique way of seeing things. It needs you to embrace your difference, to step fully into your power, to own the space you were meant to occupy. Because when you do, you don't just set yourself free, you give others permission to do the same. You become a beacon for those who have been afraid to shine. So stop apologizing for who you are. Stop questioning whether you're too much. Stop doubting your gifts just because others don't understand them. You were born to stand out for a reason. The world may try to silence you, to make you doubt yourself, to convince you that you're too different. But different is where the magic is. Different is where breakthroughs happen. Different is what creates change. And you were never meant to be anything but extraordinary. So own it, live it, walk in it, because the moment you fully embrace who you are, the world has no choice but to take notice. Success changes everything. It shifts the way people see you, the way they treat you, the way they talk about you when you're not around. At first, they celebrate you. They clap for you, pat you on the back, tell you they always believed in you. But as you keep rising, as you start accomplishing things they never imagined for you or for themselves, that applause begins to fade. The energy shifts. The smiles become forced. The conversations grow distant, and before you know it, the very people who once stood beside you are nowhere to be found. Not because you did anything wrong, not because you changed for the worse, but because your success has created a gap they can't cross. It's not that you left them behind, it's that they chose not to grow with you. See, success is not just about achieving your goals, it's about elevation.
That's how I feel about Ja. I might do it. I gotta leave you behind, bro, cause I can't keep living like I'm in 1992. I mean, I still listen to Tupac, but still, like, you talking about ready to come out with another album. Like my auntie, you almost 50 years old, boy. What the hell is your daughter 50? How the hell did I almost get 50? What the? I was like, damn. I was like, where was I when? Okay.
They start questioning your success, downplaying your hard work, convincing themselves you must have had it easier than they did. Because if they admit that you earned it, that you sacrificed for it, that you pushed through pain, rejection, and obstacles to get where you are, they would have to acknowledge that they could have done the same. And that's too heavy for some people to face. So instead, they find reasons to resent you. They say you've changed, that you think you're better than them, that you forgot where you came from. But the truth is, you didn't forget. You just refused to stay stuck. Success separates you from the crowd, not because you wanted to leave people behind, but because you refused to stay in a place that didn't align with your future.
Like this place. This don't align with my future. If I'm not moving and I gave this area so many chances and I haven't figured out, hey, this area don't like you very much. And they're allowing things to happen to you. After I say stuff, I'm over here like, hey, I'm letting y'all know before I explode, because I don't want to explode, because I have a feeling something gonna happen to me. But you better get your boys. I gave this area just like I've been in different areas and I've never experienced no shit like this. I gave this place a chance because I was like, well, at least, you know, it's like there's still bums and stuff around, but I mean, there's people driving with nice cars, and you don't think of crime when you see stuff like that. And now it's like, nah, they will kill you and they will use you and then kill you over here. Fuck the thieving part. This is your life over here. I'm like, no. So I'm starting to feel them vibes. I was like, dude, you better get up out of there, dude.
Success isn't about being accepted. It's about fulfilling your purpose. And the ones who are meant to be with you find their way there too. The rest, they were never meant to make it that far. And that's okay. Your journey isn't just about you. Every step you take, every obstacle you overcome, overcome. Every moment you refuse to quit, it's not just shaping your destiny, it's lighting the way for someone else. You may not see them, you may not hear them, but trust me, they're watching.
I know.
Someone out there is struggling, feeling lost, wondering if they have what it takes to push through, and then they see you. They see you fighting, growing, elevating, becoming, and in that moment you give them hope. You become proof that change is possible, that resilience pays off, that no matter how hard life gets, there is always a way forward. Your journey, your persistence, your unwavering faith, it's inspiring the right people, even when you don't realize it. Because the truth is, not everyone will celebrate you. Not everyone will cheer for you when you take a risk, when you step into your purpose, when you break free from the limitations that once held you back. Some people will question you, doubt you, even resent you. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your courage highlights their fear. Your growth reminds them of everything they've been too afraid to pursue. But that's not your burden to carry. You were never meant to stay small just to make others comfortable. You were never meant to dim your light so others wouldn't feel insecure. Your journey is meant to challenge, to shake things up, to push people to see what's possible when you refuse to settle. And the right people, they will see your struggle and find strength in it. They will watch you rise and realize they can too. They will take your story, your lessons, your victories, and use them as fuel for their own journey. That's the power of walking in your purpose. It doesn't just change your life, it creates a ripple effect. You might not even realize the number of lives you're impacting just by refusing to give up. That person who never had a role model, they're looking up to you. That friend who was about to quit, they're holding on because they see you pushing forward. That stranger who thought success wasn't possible for someone like them, they're believing again because you showed them it is. But here's the thing. You won't always get recognition for it. People won't always tell you how much you inspire them. They won't always express their gratitude. And that's okay. Your journey is not about applause. It's not about validation. It's about impact. It's about walking so boldly in your truth that others feel empowered to do the same. It's about proving, not just to yourself, but to everyone who ever doubted, that perseverance wins, that faith moves mountains, that hard work and dedication pay off in ways most people can't even imagine. You are not just succeeding for yourself, you are setting the stage for the next person who dares to dream. That's why you can't quit. That's why you can't let fear, doubt, or negativity slow you down. Because someone needs you to keep going. Someone needs to see you win. Someone needs to witness your journey so they can believe in their own.
Lola.
And the ones who are meant to be part of your journey, they will celebrate you, they will uplift you, they will grow with you. Those are your people. Those are the ones you keep close. Not the ones who envy, not the ones who discourage, not the ones who try to keep you small. The right people will see your success as inspiration, not competition. So keep moving and keep stepping into the highest version of yourself. Knowing that your journey is creating space for others to rise to.
Competition. Yeah, we don't have to help each other. Let's just shoot each other in the face and have fun.
Someone is watching, someone is learning,
Roblox.
Because of you, there will always be people who
Fortnite.
feel uncomfortable with your light. Not because you did anything wrong, not because you're trying to outshine them, but because your presence forces them to see their own shadows. Your confidence makes them question their insecurities. Your ambition makes them confront their complacency. Your success makes them realize how much they've settled. And instead of being inspired, instead of choosing to rise,
What'd you do? Fart, Lolo? Smell like cupcakes back there.
No? Well, I did have a cake pop that my cousin made for the party.
Damn, I got some powerful ass smell. I'm like, why I smell like somebody farted and shot out glitter cakes?
try to make you believe that standing out is a problem, that being different, being bold, being driven is something to be ashamed of. But the truth is, the people who change the world are the ones who refuse to blend in. They refuse to conform, to silence themselves, to water down their greatness for the sake of making others comfortable. And that's exactly what you must do, because every time you dim your light to make someone else feel better, you betray yourself. You silence your own power. You deny the world the gift of who you truly are. And for what? To gain approval from people who were never meant to walk with you in the first place, you will meet people who mistake confidence for arrogance, who mistake self-love for selfishness, who mistake your drive for being too much. Let them think what they want. Their perception of you is not your problem. The ones who are meant to be in your life will see your light and celebrate it, not resent it. They will see your glow as a reminder that they too can shine. That's the difference between people who are secure in themselves and those who are not. Secure people don't get intimidated by your light, they get inspired by it. But the insecure, they will try to dim it.
They want to kill you.
Because they are afraid to step into their own. And here's the truth. Your light will reveal things in people they don't want to face. It will bring out envy in those who have refused to grow. It will bring out judgment in those who are stuck in comparison. It will bring out resentment in those who feel like life has passed them by. But that has nothing to do with you. Your job is not to fix their insecurities. Your job is not to carry their wounds. Your job is to shine fully and unapologetically, knowing that the right people will find their way to you and the wrong ones will fall away. So don't shrink. Don't second guess yourself. Don't dim your light just because someone else is afraid of their own darkness. Your light is meant to lead, to inspire, to awaken. And if it blinds the wrong people along the way, so be it. Those who are meant to walk with you will adjust to your brightness. They will rise to meet you. They will glow beside you, not against you. And that's how you know truly belongs in your life. Shining your light doesn't mean you think you're better than anyone. It doesn't mean you're trying to be above others. It simply means you refuse to play small.
Mm-hmm.
It means you know your worth, you recognize your power, and you are not afraid to take up space in this world. It means you have embraced who you are, fully, completely, without apology. And that is something too many people are afraid to do. They silence themselves, they suppress their greatness, they live in the shadows of what others expect, but not you. You weren't built for that. You weren't created to live in fear of what others might say. You were born to be seen, and yes, your light will cost you some relationships. It will separate you from people who are not meant for you. It will make some people uncomfortable. But that's okay, because the ones who truly belong in your life, they will stand beside you, they will protect your light, fuel your fire, and never ask you to shrink for their comfort. Those are your people. The rest, let them go. Let them talk. Let them be bothered. But never, ever let them make you feel like you need to be less than who you truly are. So stand tall, own your greatness, walk boldly in your purpose, and never, under any circumstances, dim your light for anyone. Shine, not just for yourself, but for those who are looking for permission to shine too. You never know who you are inspiring just by being unapologetically you. Life has a way of separating those who embrace their greatness from those who fear it. Every step you take towards becoming the person you were meant to be will challenge those around you. Some will admire your courage, others will resent your strength. But understand this, your journey is not about them. It's about you stepping into the fullness of who you are without apology, without hesitation, without fear. The world has tried to convince you that you need permission to shine, that you need approval to grow, that you must shrink to be accepted. But that was never your purpose. You were meant to stand tall, to walk boldly in your truth, to be a beacon for those who are lost in their own doubts and insecurities. Not everyone will celebrate you. Some will envy your strength because it reminds them of their weaknesses. Some will resent your success because it highlights their stagnation. Some will try to dim your light because it exposes their darkness. But none of that is your burden to carry. You do not exist to make others comfortable. You are not here to shrink for the sake of those who refuse to grow. Your presence alone is enough to shake the foundation of those who live in fear, because you represent everything they are too afraid to become. And when they try to break you, when they try to question you, when they try to make you doubt yourself, remember their envy is not a reflection of your worth, but of their own internal battles. Success has a way of separating you from the crowd. It forces you to walk a road that many are too afraid to take. It demands that you rise above mediocrity, that you break free from the expectations placed upon you, that you become everything you were destined to be. And that journey will not always be easy. It will be lonely at times. It will require sacrifices, endurance, and an unshakable belief in yourself. But no matter how hard it gets, no matter who doubts you, no matter who tries to stop you, never, ever give up. Because your journey is not just about you. It is about the lives you touch, the people you inspire, the silent observers who look at you and find the strength to keep going. Your existence, your resilience, your unwavering faith, it is a testimony to those who need hope. Even when you don't see them, even when they don't speak, they are watching. Your courage gives them permission to believe in themselves. Your persistence shows them that success is possible. Your willingness to stand in your truth reminds them that they too can step into their power. That is why you cannot quit. That is why you cannot let fear or doubt or the opinions of others hold you back. Someone out there is waiting for you to rise, so they can believe it's possible for them too. So keep moving forward, keep shining, keep doubts or envy of others make you question your greatness. You were never meant to fit in. You were born to stand out. You were chosen to be different. And the right people, the ones who truly belong in your life, will never ask you to dim your light. They will rise with you, they will walk beside you, and they will celebrate every victory you achieve. Let go of anything and anyone that tries to hold you back. Stand boldly in your purpose. Keep growing, keep believing, and keep proving that nothing can stop you when you decide to step fully into the person you were always meant to be. Thank you for your time, for your spirit, for your strength. Keep...
Amen. Lolo's like, yes, he turned it off. Oh, you stopped playing Ark?
Yeah. My brain started hurting.
Your ribs started hurting?
My brain started hurting.
Oh.
Trying to build the roof.
All you gotta do is eat a snack and your brain will go right back to its regular self. I ain't lying. When you with games for a long time, that's how you know you're using your brain, because you'll start getting a headache. And especially if you ain't ate nothing, you'll turn that shit off. You be like, hell nah, I'm thinking too much. First customers of the day. I wonder where they're going. They haven't even rode the coaster. Oh, they're going to get their pictures for the other coaster. Y'all going to the swimming pool? I think it's open. It should be open. I think they're going to the swimming pool.
¿Qué noche es Liz?
Purple balloon evidently jive.
Oh, they leaving. No swimmers? Make sure it's open. Yep. Oh, prestige ain't very high. Ain't more like plants. Something. More decorations. Oh, we got our first swimmers. We gotta get the water slides going. Big old swimming pool. She going on a diving board. What happened to my sound? Oh, we lost sound too. Forgot all about this. got 2 people in the pool. Well, we went up to 300. There's just more people coming in here. We gotta open this one. This one's been ready. Are they coming? I think it's... Yeah, this one should be free. I think it is. I know my flat rides ain't free. No, it's not free. We'll bargain the 2 roller coasters and everything else. We'll charge for it. Oh, they're coming already. Come on in, guys. First riders. I gotta name this one. Super Canyon Coaster Soup. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Let's go. First time people rode this coaster. Y'all like it? Scream! Canyon Looper. The Looper. gonna have to be with like a name with the looper, cause there's a lot of loops. The looper. Say cheese. Pie y'all. It's a rock back and forth. I need to put some lights on this thing. See the speakers on. Never-ending coaster. The never-ending canyon. Nah, it's gotta be the looper. Ooh, is anybody gonna throw up? Y'all straight? No throw up. No throw up. Alright, I think that's what we're gonna do for today, y'all. Make sure y'all follow, like, subscribe. I appreciate it. We'll be back probably later. Y'all stay inside, be safe. Have a happy Sunday. It don't look like anybody's gonna throw up. Uh-oh. I see some throw up coming. She's holding her chest. Is she gonna throw up? The one in the front, she's like, oh my god. They didn't like that. I guess they're not gonna throw up. And they're straight. They stopped to get something to eat. Yeah, I went from 312 to 500 in 2 minutes. I need to put trash cans down here. Boop, boop, boop. Hold on.